Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and I decided it was high time I pulled out this pretty pink posh. This is the Birdie Friends stamp set that I showed, weeks ago, months ago, whenever, when I had got my haul of a bunch of pretty pink posh goodies, and this set has been literally sitting on my stamp desk now for weeks. So I pulled out some white cardstock and I had coated it with some anti-static powder, and then I stamped the largest little birdie in the stamp set with some VersaFine Onyx black ink, and then embossed it with clear embossing powder, which again, I'm going through a phase. Everything's getting stamped in VersaFine and embossed with clear embossing powder. So I did that because I wanted to color them in with my Spectrum Noir glitter pens. Again, showed these in a video a few weeks ago. Had promised a review video, never actually did. Like, I filmed a review, I just haven't uploaded it. Yeah, one thing at a time. I've used these a couple times. I've mostly shown, I think, just the clear ones in a couple of videos. But the main reason I got these is because they're kind of fun to blend. Now, if I had used watercolor paper, these would have blended so much easier, or even just a smoother cardstock. I'm pretty sure I accidentally grabbed just some cheaper white cardstock from my stash. If I'd been using the Nina Solar White cardstock that I normally use for like Copic coloring, that sort of thing, these would have blended a lot better. But I went and I applied basically how you would with markers. I applied the darker blue, and then I used the medium shade of blue from the Spectrum Noirs, and then I was using the clear. And I was, like I was show here, I wasn't getting the blend I wanted with the clear. So all I did was actually squeeze that lighter blue onto an acrylic block and was picking it up there with the clear. And that just created a light enough shade that they would blend a bit better. So I'm going to show here in a second how like ultra sparkly these really are. It is insane. First off, the clear, you just scribble it onto a scrap of cardstock and it cleans off any of the color that it's picked up. And then I turned on my cell phone little flashlight here, and you can see just how insanely sparkly these are. They're so much fun. So on camera, they look more kind of like a shimmer, but in real life, they have just this shimmer, and then when it hits the light, you get that crazy amount of sparkle, and I love it. Love it. So people have been asking for comparisons of these and the Spectrum, or not the Spectrum Noir, the Wink of Stella. Basically, the Wink of Stella has more of a gold shimmer, whereas the Spectrum Noir has more of a clear to a silvery shimmer. Yeah, they're similar, but yet different. Different enough that I like having both sets so far. So I'm enjoying them. So anyway, I trimmed them out, like fussy cut them. I should have got the set of dies with that stamp set, but I didn't because I wasn't thinking. So I just fussy cut them, which didn't take very long. And then I grabbed the Pretty Pink Posh stitched photo frames and just die cut the largest one. And then I've got this scrap piece of stamp storage from Simon Says Stamp. I've done other videos with the fuse tool making pockets, and I save the decent sized scraps like this that are left over, so that it was perfect to create two little pockets, because I decided to make two cards at once, because why not? So for my first one, I just fused 3 sides together with my fuse tool. And again, I've showed this in several videos. You want to get like the tool really heat up. Be very, very careful with it because it is insanely hot. And I'm just using scrap pieces of cardstock as my base. Some people use a glass cutting mat. Whatever works for you. I just use the scrap cardstock because it gives it a bit of give, and I don't obviously set the tool on the cardstock. I don't let it, press in for too long because you will burn it. Same with like a regular craft mat, that sort of thing. So you got to be careful with it. So once I was done filling my little shaker pocket here, I just used that die cut as a guide just so I knew where to fuse the last piece to create this solid pocket. And I used several different Pretty Pink Posh. I used some sequins and the iridescent confetti hearts, which I'm obsessed with. And this time I was a little more conservative with the amount I added to my pockets. Usually I tend to go overboard and like fill them right to the max. But this time I added just a more conservative amount so they actually would shake around a little bit. And I did this twice since I had enough of the scrap pocket left. So I did the same thing. I fused it on 3 sides. Filled it up with several different sequins. I used marshmallow in 2 sizes, sea breeze in the small size, and then, like I said, the iridescent heart confetti. And just sprinkled a few of those in the pocket, shook it up a bit to kind of mix them up, and then basically eyeballed where that interior of the frame was going to be and sealed it. When it's going to be concealed by cardstock, whatever elements of your card, I don't feel the need to use a ruler or the fuse ruler that comes with the tool to, make sure my, fusing lines are super straight. I just eyeball it because you're not going to see it in the end anyway. So did that, set it aside, and then I took those frames and I stamped one of the sentiments from the stamp set with that same VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And then I coated the back of each of those frames with some adhesive. This isn't the good kind of adhesive. I just had this in my stash. The kind I linked to, though, the 1/4 inch adhesive, is much better quality. Like, it holds a lot better. It's the score tape adhesive. I'm pretty sure that's the one I linked to. Anyway, this stuff works in a pinch, but it's not as good as the score tape one. So I coated the back of the die cut, and then I adhered the pocket to that, and then I applied adhesive over it again so I can adhere that to my card. And that's why I kind of call it a flat shaker card, because I'm able to do this with just adhesive rather than using a bunch of foam tape, which, creates a lot of bulk, which sometimes is great, but sometimes you want a flatter card. So I was generous with the adhesive on here because I want these to adhere really, really well. And then I grabbed some pattern paper this is from the My Favorite Things Tranquil Textures 6x6 pack. And I cut those down to about 4 inches square. And then I just adhered those die cut little shaker pouches I'd created right on top of there. So there's not a whole lot of dimension. It sticks up a little bit where the actual, sequin pocket is, but it's not super bulky. And then to adhere my little bird over those, I thought for a second about doing the foam tape, but again, I wanted to kind of keep these flat. So I actually pulled out my little Xyron X machine because it's perfect. And you just put your little images, as long as they're small enough to fit, which these were, face up, and then you run them through there, and it's just applying adhesive evenly over the entire back of these. And then you just rub really well over all of the edges of, your die cut or whatever it is you've run through it, so that when you peel up this backing here, it peels off all the excess adhesive, and then you've basically created your own stickers. I've had one of these little machines for years. I don't use them that often, but for things like this, they're perfect. So I need to make a point of using it more often because it's so much more convenient than trying to run a bunch of adhesive or, use liquid adhesive, which wouldn't work very well over that pocket. So this was perfect. So I adhered both my little birds just flat, and then I applied just my Scotch ATG adhesive to the back of the pattern paper, and I'm going to adhere those to my card bases. And today they are 4 1/4 inch square cards. So I had 2 pieces of white cardstock that were 4 1/4 by 8.5 inches, and then scored at 4 1/4 to make my little square cards. And you could leave well enough alone if you wanted to keep these cards almost completely flat, but you guys know me and my obsession with, adhering sequins to everything. So I couldn't leave well enough alone. I had to add a bunch more sequins. It just felt empty without them. So I adhered the same sequins to the front, and then I was, comparing them, and it's like, see how it just looks better with sequins. So I did that to the second card off camera. I couldn't not. Still flat, would still mail quite easily, but you know me. I just got to add more. So I decided to finish off the inside of these with, I added strips of the pattern paper that I use on the front. And then there's this little trio of birdies in the stamp set, and I couldn't not use them. So I did the exact same thing that I did for the main images. I just quickly coated the insides with anti-static powder, stamped the birds, coated them with clear embossing powder, melted the embossing powder with my heat tool, and then just quickly colored them in again with those same Spectrum Noir glitter pens. But this time, I didn't do any blending. I just colored each one solidly with one color. So I did the outer ones with that lighter blue, and then the middle one with the darker blue. And again, like, the sparkle is just so much fun. Oh, and then I think it is Harvest Moon is the orange one. Yeah, I'll have links to them with all of the rest of the supplies, and of course they're completely sold out. I think Jennifer McGuire just posted a video in the last week using these, so everywhere is sold out, I'm pretty sure. I think the clear ones are still available, but it might take a while for places to get restocked because, yeah, we all know as soon as Jennifer McGuire endorses a product, it's gone. It's off all the shelves. So, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was just like, ooh, yay, sparkle, and then didn't bother to check before I made a card whether, the supplies were available or not. So, my apologies, but I'm sure they'll get restocked soon. So, yeah, once I was done coloring those all in, I adhered those little strips of pattern paper to finish off the inside, and that finished off my fun little cards. So as always, I will have links below the video to my blog post with the pictures, as well as links to all the supplies used. Check that out below if you are interested. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribing, thumbs upping, and commenting on all my videos. I really, really appreciate it, and I read all the comments. I really love it. Thank you all so much, and I will see you guys very soon in another video. Bye.